Wines du jour. We're having a good time here at McCormick and Schmick. I want to mention something a little bit about wine number two, because wine number two's got some things that we want to talk about that goes along with it. You know, one of the most difficult varietals in the whole world to harvest is Pinot Noir. To make a good bottle of Pinot Noir is not that easy to do because Pinot Noir is a very finicky grape. Well, this happens to be a 2008 a Robo Winery from Edna Valley, which is in Central Valley, or Central Coast, as I mentioned earlier. I'm going to ask Rob if he could tell us a little bit about this great wine that we're going to have, number two.
All right. The Robo Wine. This is what's called a second label. Does everybody understand what a second label is? It's something that the primary winemaker, it's not his primary wine. This is something that it's kind of a pet project, per se. The winemaker here is Robert Rex. He's actually out of Sonoma. He does Deerfield Ranch, and he's on his 41st consecutive vintage.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Getting used to it.
He's kind of getting used to it. He is a chemist, and he is all about the chemicals. He's got an absolutely phenomenal palate. Was a gourmet chef at the age of 7, and never started actually making wine until he was working on his girlfriend's Alfa Romeo and fixed her car for her, which she still has today. But she gave him a winemaking kit as a present, and he started making wine. 41 years later, he now has some spectacular wines. Well, he never ever wanted to do a second label. He said, I don't want to get into that. I don't want to do it. But he was driving around Napa and Sonoma and the Central Coast, and he saw a lot of his very famous winemaker friends just throwing away grapes. And he said, I don't want to see my friends go out of business. So he said, I'll tell you what, I'll put some stuff together. And so he went out and bought these grapes. He signed confidentiality disclosure saying, I will never tell you where I bought the wine from. I have no idea. I don't even think his wife knows where he bought the grapes from. So this is a second label, but it is appellation specific, which is extremely hard to find, which means that he bought all of these grapes from the Edna Valley and blended them together. And when you taste this, it is absolutely phenomenal.
Oh, yeah. They're going to be bringing it. Some tables have it, some are on their way. But this fish comes from Scotland. Now, that's a long way by air. Not a problem. A few hours, it's here. This is a steelhead. Now, I don't know if you've ever even heard about steelhead. Depends on what part of the world you live in. Steelhead is an absolutely outstanding fish, but you don't see much of it in Las Vegas or California or Arizona. It's generally across the pond, as they call it. This has the steelhead. The chef has taken this and he's made a ponzu sauce with blackberries. So you got a blackberry ponzu with the steelhead. Along with, he's made a nice little nest of fried black forbidden rice, it's called. And so it makes it a little bit unique. So when you try it, make sure you taste it by itself, and then take another taste and have a little bit of this Pinot Noir with it, and you're going to go, holy cow.
Actually, Les, we did, the chef and I did go to a fish sampling dinner, and this is actually, we've all heard of Loch Ness in Scotland. Well, this is from Loch Etive, and the water there is very cold, so it adds to the flavor and the texture of this fish.
Food that the chef put together, I talked a little bit about the steelhead. I mentioned the blackberry ponzu sauce. That's what we have around the plate. And if you haven't done it, folks, that's tasting this, make sure that you taste some of that sauce by itself, because ponzu is it's a pretty high-end sauce. However, you can go to the grocery store, I'm just telling you, and look on the shelf. There may be a ponzu sauce that you can buy in a bottle. And if you don't have to worry about making it, you can get a bottle of it and try it on fish or pork or a lot of different things. Ponzu is a cool sauce that a lot of people don't know anything about. Now we're going to go to wine number three. This is an Italian red wine. As you probably know, there are 200 varietals of grapes grown in Italy. Most people aren't aware of that. 200. That's much more than any other country. So when you go to different regions and taste the local wine, it tastes like something you've never had before because you haven't had it before. But the most popular varietal overall is Sangiovese. And that is in this wine along with most other wines all over Italy. We've got to go to a break pretty quick, so I'm going to ask Rob to hold off for a second to tell us a little bit about it. We'll find out about that right after these messages, so don't go anywhere.